how to manifest getting on Santa's nice list. Now, when we all grew up, what was one of the favorite times of the year? It was Christmas. Now, some of you guys experienced some shitty Christmases, but that's not what I'm talking about here. So, again, Christmas was one of the favorite times of the year. Now, back then we didn't know how to manifest, but what always made Christmas fun is finding out what was under the tree. Now, this year, you guys do know how to manifest, and I'm going to tell you how to get on Santa's nice list. Now, what do I mean by Santa? Because, as we know, Santa, let's keep that for another video. But Santa, what does that mean in the universe, okay? Because we want to get on the universe's nice list. Santa, in this point, would mean your identity's nice list or your subconscious mind's nice list. Now, let's break down this, mind you, beautiful picture here. So we have, let's just say Billy. Billy is sitting here. He was put on Santa's naughty list. This is where nobody wants to be. So, what did Billy do to get on the naughty list? Well, Billy showed no faith. He did no blank, looked for blank, and did blank. And guess what happened? Under the tree, he got no presents. In this case, in the universe's nice list, the tree represents your desired reality, or represents reality. The presents under represents your desired reality. And Billy didn't get his desired reality because he did all of these, mysterious things. Number one is no faith, but then you have a couple of things here that you don't know. And that's the truth, okay? A lot of people don't know what is putting them into the naughty list of the universe. They don't know what is putting them into the reality they are not enjoying experiencing, okay? And that is what I'm here to solve, so once and for all, you can live peacefully with presents under the tree in your desired reality. Now, again, I do want to take some time to look at this amazing drawing. I mean, look at this. The snow coming down. You have the beautiful tree. Billy is crying like a little bitch. And then we have the naughty list. But, okay, you guys are only semi here to see my beautiful drawings. Let's get on and show you how to manifest getting on Santa's nice list. Let's go on to board number 2. So, how would somebody end up on the universe's naughty list? Now, you may think there's a plethora of things, which you would be right, but I'm going to break down the main reasons why you're stuck in your own hell, okay? Keyword, your own. You're making it yourself. So, again, the universe's naughty list. What is the universe's naughty list, okay? What can we attribute the word naughty to? And I'm not talking about you freaky motherfuckers out there. So, the universe's naughty list or Santa's naughty list equates naughty to your undesired reality. Any reality that is in opposition to your desired reality. So that means every universe that you could possibly be in besides the one that you want to be in. Now, to really understand on how you end up on the universe's naughty list, and then in effect not being on the universe's naughty list, we need to understand the workflow of Santa and his elves. And in this case, Santa is the universe and his elves is, other parts of the universe, whatever. It's festive today, so we're going to be festive. Okay, so the workflow of the universe, Santa, subconscious mind, whatever you want to use, you always start at your energy. Now, that word can be thrown around. People cannot like it. This is truly what energy means. It means your thoughts and your emotions. Now, a lot of people get triggered at the word emotion, especially in the law of assumption community, which I am neither. I'm not law of assumption, law of attraction. I am very simply the law of whatever the fuck gets you to your desired reality. Okay, I don't like boxing myself into limitation. So, a lot of people do not like the word emotions. Why do people not like the word emotions? Because in a lot of the communities, either it's overplayed and they don't explain it correctly and they're like, oh no, emotions, but don't worry about your emotions. Which in a sense You do, but it's very specific. When I'm talking about energy at the very step one, emotions are important. And they're important because emotions lets you know you've shifted your state of consciousness, okay? Your thoughts, that could be affirming, visualization, scripting, it doesn't matter. It's not strictly pertaining to what's going up in your noggin, okay? But thoughts is whatever you are doing to direct your awareness. Now, emotions shows you if that thought is actually working, okay? Now, mind you, every thought technically works if you say it works. But if you are saying an affirmation and your state, which is your emotion, the state of your awareness is not changing, and you're still repeating all this negative stuff in your head, especially over time. Now, if you're doing this in one day, I wouldn't change anything. But if you're doing this over weeks and nothing is changing, you're not actually giving it to yourself. Now, that could be hard for some of you guys to understand. But when you are giving it to yourself within, to Santa or the subconscious mind, we know the subconscious mind is fourth dimensional, okay? And manifestation is giving it to yourself until you no longer want it. You feed yourself because you are hungry, and you eat until you are not hungry. It is the same with manifestation. So your emotions crave your hunger level. Do not let your emotions dictate whether you have or do not have something, but use your emotions as an indicator. If you are sitting there and you are so focused on this thing and you want it so bad, if you are wanting something and that is all your being, the universe cannot give it to you because you need to give it to yourself. You can only be in one chair in reality, whether that be your desired reality or all other realities, and your awareness is your I amness. Your I amness is your what? Your identity. We'll get into that in a second, but your identity is really what manifests. So if you are wanting, if you are emotionally dependent on what it is you are manifesting, you have not given it to yourself, and giving it to yourself is step one, which is your energy, so you need to fix that. So your energy always goes into your frequency. What is your frequency? So your frequency is your identity, which is your I amness, what you identify as, or Santa. Or in this case, the subconscious mind. Okay, so frequency is your identity, and what you identify as is always in your subconscious mind. Okay, because identity is the biggest part of who you are. So your thoughts and emotions, your emotional state, which is your state of awareness, is always led to your frequency, which is your identity or your subconscious mind. We know this to be true. Identity is the key step here, but the energy behind everything you're doing throughout the day is what creates identity. Now, if you are identifying yourself as something, like, for example, if you were to get cheated on, you're like, I knew he was going to cheat on me. You are identifying as somebody who gets cheated on, okay? And that is what has to play out. Because as we know, the universe gives you who you are. Okay, so the subconscious mind is a fourth dimensional being. It is God. God is within you, which means you are God. When you have access to God, you are God. Okay, and since we know that to be true, as we know that time is collapsed in the fourth dimension, that means we are using our awareness to pick our identity. Okay, and once our identity is formed, it is then here in our frequency, and we get our energy, which goes to our frequency, which forms identity. And identity is literally just the version of you you are choosing to be aware of, because again, you're not creating, you're choosing, because in the fourth dimension, time is done. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, so once you have your energy down pat, your frequency down pat, where does that lead you? It leads you to your intuition. Now, what is intuition? Milo. My cat is currently meowing under the door right now because he so badly wants to get it, even though I just fed his ass. Milo, get out of here. So what is intuition? So intuition is our intuition is teachings. So inner teachings. The intuition is the inner teachings or the guidelines from identity, the version of you who already has it, or the subconscious mind, whichever way you want to look at it. They're instructions to best get here, because your identity is eventually what materializes into reality. Your intuition is the mental nudges or, the guidelines of your subconscious mind or identity, the version of you who already has it, to get to this frequency in reality. Now, intuition is not just stemmed to you, it stems to everybody that needs to move for you to get what you want in the quickest way possible. Okay, so again, energy, thoughts and emotions, which lead to identity or impressing the subconscious mind, which leads to inner teachings, the intuition from the version of you who already has it, or if you want to say, the subconscious mind telling you how to get it, whatever way you want to look at it, whatever works for you. And obviously the intuition, the inner teachings, the inner guidelines is going to subconsciously push us to the action or inaction needed to get our desired reality. Now, this is not alone to just us. This is everybody in accordance that needs to act for you to get what you want. Okay? So, your thoughts and emotions lead to your identity. Your identity leads to your intuition, your inner teachings, the subconscious guidelines that rule your life, which then leads to action or inaction, which then leads to reality, good or bad, naughty or nice. Now, what a lot of people do when they don't see something that they like, which they're being aware of something that they do not like, they go straight to step number 4, which is action. They're like, I need to do this to get this. That's not how reality works. Because let's say, for example, your business is failing, right? And let's say you need to be at 10K a month to actually maintain a profit. But right now you're at 4K and you're going under. You only got a couple months left. You're failing. You're like, I need to do this strategy to get this. So what you are doing is you're in the energy of a failing business, which then leads to the frequency or identity or impressing the subconscious mind with a failing business. You get the inner teachings, which is the guidelines of a failing business, which leads you to where you are now, which is acting and trying to do something to fix your failing business, which then leads to the reality of a failing business. Now, you could do this, and it could give you momentary, what is the word I'm looking for? Security in the 3D. Be like, oh, it's working. Oh, it's working. But then you're always, because this is the workflow of Santa and his elves, the workflow of the subconscious mind, the workflow of the universe, that no matter if you start here with a failing business, it goes down the pipeline. You cannot avoid it until you change your energy. So if your energy is coming from the state of a failing business, then guess what? Your action will be of one of a failing business. And no matter if it like slowly leads you to good, you will always fall back down to reality, which is a failing business. Extrapolate that to whatever you are trying to manifest, okay? Now, a very, very sneaky thing that people fall into in the manifesting community is the action to get our desired reality. They think, oh, I need to affirm. I need to visualize to get. That's not manifesting. That is forcing reality. Now, those techniques are not bad. They're tools to train your awareness. We know this. But if you are acting, you're like, oh, I need to do this to get reality, then your energy is already set in place as somebody who doesn't have it. Energy, frequency, intuition, action. If you're not starting here at your energy, you will always be bamboozled by reality didn't give you what you wanted because you're working in the wrong way. So, if you were trying to say, I need to affirm to get, you might be able to trick your mind into replicating that energy, okay? And a lot of people do. But they get wishy-washy results, and then they'll lose their desired reality because they think the technique is what is actually manifesting, when in fact it is our energy, it is our awareness of who we are. It's our identity. And if you sit there and say, I need to affirm to get, you're already in the energy of this, of lack, of not having. But again, you can trick by forcing yourself to become aware of it. But that leads to wishy-washy results. For the best results, you need to start at your energy, which is if you want to do the technique, you need to do it to experience it. And now, a lot of people will say, oh, you need to go and experience it, but it doesn't make any fucking sense because they don't know how to explain it, okay? When I say you need to experience it, it's coming from the state of you already having it. You going into visualization to remember it, to appreciate this. And I didn't know exactly what this meant for years. So if you're sitting around and going throughout the day and you're sitting on the couch and it pops up in your head that, it's an intrusive thought from the old version of you, the old awareness that didn't have it, and you sit there, it's like, oh, I need to go meditate. You're already cooked. You don't need to do anything, because if you already have it and you're already choosing that you have it in your identity and your energy, nothing can take it away from you besides you. There's nobody above you. You are God. You have God within you. You have access to God, so you are God. And if you already have something, why do you need to do something to get it? Now that's what everybody teaches you. Oh, you need to affirm in the morning, visualize at night. That's not manifestation. And now you can do those techniques to manifest, but you don't have to do anything to manifest as long as you know who the fuck you are, which starts with your thoughts and your emotions, and then who you identify as. So if you're sitting there, which is what I would do for years, and what a lot of people also do, is they'll be sitting there, something will pop up in their head, they're like, oh, I need to go visualize. I need to visualize. The word need implies you need to do this to get. If you're doing this to get, then your energy and your identity is saying that you don't have. And we know if you start here, your energy and your frequency, well, then what the fuck are we gonna get? Inner teachings, the guidance from the subconscious mind, or your identity saying that you don't have it, which leads to the action/inaction needed from everybody around you to give you what the fuck is in your energy, which leads to the reality of not having. Flip it around. Go to your energy. You already have it, no matter what. You don't need to do anything. If you like affirming, you can affirm. If you like visualizing, you can affirm, but you don't. If you miss a date, you can't fuck it up, because you either have or you don't have. Now, let me simplify this, okay? We're going to get here. I'm going to simplify this for you. But how do we violate our energy? Because energy is step one. If we don't know how we're violating our own energy, we don't know how to create our desired reality. We're not hope manifestors. We do this very structurally, okay? So, how do we violate our own energy? By identifying with our old selves. Now, how does that look? Let's say you are wanting to manifest an SP, right? And you really love this woman. You really want her in your life, okay? But you are identifying with your old self when you go and check her Instagram to see if she's unblocked you. And I use that because I've done that before. Silly old me. So, identifying with your old self, you can go check the 3D. You can sit there and think, oh my God, when is she going to come? That's identifying with the version of you that doesn't have it. See what I mean? Any thoughts or emotions that indicate that we do not have that, consciously, that we think, if we're sitting here thinking, oh my God, when is this going to work? You are consciously identifying with not having. That is different than intrusive thoughts that are not coming for you. And a lot of people don't know how to differentiate that, okay? So what I would do and what I do is during my day, I'll go and sit down in the dark for 20 minutes with my eyes closed and just meditate. You will hear stuff that comes up in your head. Those are not you. So when you're going throughout your day and you're deciding that you are only going to think and have emotions from the state of you being, because you already chose that you have it, then every thought that is against that is a sign that your old you is fighting against you. And that is a good thing, because doubt does not show up unless what you are doing is working. Doubt is a tool used by your old frequency to keep you aware of not having, because you being aware of you having is you killing the old version of you, because everything is alive at once. And awareness is life. So stop identifying with our old selves. Remembering. How do we violate our energy? By remembering. Remembering what? Remembering old versions. So a lot of people remember when something went bad. Okay, if you're remembering something went bad, you're giving off the thoughts and emotions of that bad thing, which leads down the line all the way to reality. We know this. We've went over this. So if you are remembering something that is in complete contradiction to the story you're telling yourself, well, then you're violating your energy, which is the workflow of Santa and his elves, which is the workflow of the subconscious mind. We do not remember versions of you that is in complete contradiction with our desired reality, or you will end up on the naughty list. We don't want that. So, reacting. How do we violate our energy? By reacting to. Reacting to what, Aiden? Calm down. I'm going to get there. So, reacting to what? Everything. Genuinely. You can sit there and let's say you're manifesting money and you get a parking ticket. Now, The old version of you who is broke might freak the fuck out. It's like, oh my God, I can't afford to pay this. How am I going to fucking pay my water bill this month? Blah, 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 blah. You get the point, okay? It sounds silly. Because if you are trying to be somebody with all of this money, right, and you get a parking ticket, it wouldn't matter to you because you have the money to cover it. Are you understanding what's going on right now? So if you're reacting to something, everything that is in alignment with your undesired reality, then you are bringing your thoughts and emotions to the fact that you don't have it, and we already know how that goes. It leads you to a reality of what? Not having. Okay, now one more example. Doing to, this is a very simple one. Doing to get. And we talked about this in the action and inaction phase. And a lot of people say in this community that you need to affirm or visualize to get, but they don't understand manifesting. They're just regurgitating a bunch of bullshit. It's very surface level. Now, mind you, when I got into it, that's what I needed. Okay, because you go in steps. And if you like that right now and you don't get what I'm saying, then this is the video for you. Maybe save it and come back in a year. Okay, but when you do to get, when you affirm to get things, you're going from the energy of not having, okay? And now, mind you, can you actually get what you want from doing this? Yes, people do it all the time. And that's why people say, like, when people explain it this way, they'll get upset and they'll be like, no, that's not how it works. How are you going to say you have something when you don't? And I get that because I used to be there and not understand this. But when we know that consciousness is everlasting, okay, when consciousness is already done, the fourth dimension, time does not exist. We are only sitting in one chair, and it's the chair of I am. And whoever you are identifying as, in any of these ways, that is what's starting in your energy. And we know that thoughts and emotions is what is the dictator of identity. Identity is what gives us the whole chain reaction to reality. Now, again, you could do to get, and you could say, I'm going to affirm to get. You could trick your energy into being that, but you'll never get consistent results because you don't actually know the workflow of the subconscious mind, which leads you to get frustrated and leads reality to trick you into saying that the technique you're doing is not working. And then you got to find a new one. You find the new best technique, and it's a cycle. It goes over and over and over again. If you want consistent results, you need to know this. You need to know where it starts and where it ends, and you know everything in the middle. You will always manifest, okay? Now, let me break this down in very simplified terms, okay? Your I am, which is your identity. You start in your current reality. Let's say something shows you something in your current reality that you do not like. It is always processed first through the lens of I am. So it goes current reality, it shows you, it goes to your I amness. You either say and identify with your current reality, which if you do that, it leads to your new reality, which is the same, and you go in a cycle of seeing these same things over and over and over again. Or your current reality shows you something, and you say the I am of your desired reality. Something, let's say, you see your bank account on zero, and you're like, no, I have $10K in my bank account. I always have more money than I can spend, whatever you want to say, whatever you want your reality to be, whatever you are choosing to be in that moment. Which then, if you identify with something and you're sitting in the chair of having, well then, since everything comes from your identity, as we know here, your thoughts and emotions create your identity, and identity, which is your frequency, makes this whole chain reaction possible. That means your identity creates your new reality. Which if you're going from the state of not having in your current reality, you say I am and I have, well then your new reality must show that I have. And that is how simple this is. Now, if this is love and your SP has blocked you and you're not with them, that's your current reality. If you choose that I am in this relationship and you do not budge, okay, that means whenever something comes up, it's like, no, I am in this. Because you have it or you don't. And if you want it bad enough, you'll sit there and say that you have it. And you'll make a decision and give it to yourself. Now that you have it, reality has no choice but to show you your I amness. And that is really as simple as this can get. And if you know this, then you know how to not end up on the naughty list. And we're going to kind of go over what you need to be doing if you want to be on the nice list and be in your desired reality. So, as we know, let's go over to the third board. So, how do you end up on the universe's nice list? As we already know before, we kind of went over how to avoid the naughty list. Now, that really covers about 99% of it, but we're kind of going to go over and fill in the little holes that you may have left. Pause. But how do you end up on the universe's nice list? Well, we know that the universe, or Santa's nice list, is what? This should be very easy, but what is it? Desired reality, okay? So how do you end up in your desired reality, okay? Very simple. If we know, which we learned earlier, that our energy sets our identity, which our identity sets into what? Our intuition, our inner teaching, which then leads to our action/inaction of whatever it is to get whatever reality we're identifying as. If we know that our energy sets our identity and identity sets our life, well, the question that everybody should have and that I had for years is how do we tune our energy? How do we get our energy to that of our desired reality so our identity can be that of our desired reality? It's that simple, okay? Now, this is where people really mess up, okay? They will say, since this is the biggest question, how do we tune our energy to that of our desired reality? They will say you need to do. You need to do to get. You need to affirm all day. Once you say 10,000 affirmations, you'll get it. You just might. If you say that's what it takes, because you're identifying as somebody who now has an extra hurdle to identify as someone. You'd be like, I can identify with this after I do this. That's not how God works, is it? It's not. It's just not how it works. So the only really true ways to tune our energy without doing to get is using techniques, which techniques are tools to tune your awareness, to tune our energy. So we can use techniques to remember who we are, not to get. Because again, the fourth dimension is just choosing the version of you that's already completed. You're not creating anything. So you don't have to do anything to create. Because again, a lot of people think you're going in there to create, in your imagination to create something. In creation, it all stems from, people say, oh, to create something you have to do. But no, you're choosing. Choosing is simply grabbing. Like if you're going to choose a toy at the toy store, you're going and grabbing it out of the bin. You're not sitting there and building the toy store, which is a lot of people think. They think, oh, I need to create my desired reality. No, you need to choose. Choosing is easy. It's simple. You just do. You just are. You just I am. And when you are something, all you're doing when you're going in your techniques is to remember that you are that person. And if you're remembering, that signifies you already have, which means your energy is already that of having it, which you already know where that puts you. It runs you straight down the line to your desired reality. Because when you say you're doing something to get, you're signifying you don't have it. It's that simple. So do it to remember. If you're going in there and you feel like that you need to do something to get, you don't. Just remind your mind that you already have. No, I am this. And then it's very freeing because you no longer have to run to the room you meditate in or run to your bed at night and be like, oh, I need to visualize for 20 minutes. If I lose focus, I failed. No, because you can't fail at getting something you already have. See, and that's the light bulb moment for a lot of people. So another thing in how to tune our energy is saying just, I am, or I have this thing. It's really that simple. It's not a complicated process. Again, unless you say it's a complicated process, because no matter what you identify as being in reality, whether something is easy or hard, you are right. You are right if it's easy or hard because you are your identity and your identity sets your life. So if you say I am, you're correct. If you say I have, you are correct. And the only thing to do after this is to not deny it. It's that simple. If you say you have something, nothing can take it away from you but you and your own awareness. So don't take it away from yourself by looking for it, by saying, oh, did this work? Because if you're saying it didn't work, you're sitting in the chair of not having. And if you don't have, your reality will show that. It'll mirror that to you. But if you do have and you don't break that in your head, if you don't take the thing that you have away from yourself, well, then reality is going to show you the fact that you have it. It's not complicated, okay? So, at this point, if you really want to do something, go down this rule. Anything that tunes our thoughts and emotion to that of our desired reality. If you like to affirm, but it sets your thoughts and emotions all day into a state of having, then do that. There's nothing against doing. Okay, you can affirm if it's getting you in this. And you know that the reality, the vacuum of how to get your desired reality starts with energy and goes to frequency, which frequency is our identity. If you know the process, anything that starts with your thoughts and emotions, if you are doing that in SPECT and you're going to your identity, then anything works. Which is why people will tell you to do stupid shit that's really dumb. Like, I've genuinely heard stories of women writing the names of their SP in a tampon and putting it inside themselves. What in the fuck? Now, it will work for some people. You want to know why? Because they say it works. The fact of doing that changes their thoughts and emotions to already having it. Because it's not the technique. It's you. You make the technique work or not work. You can say affirming works or it doesn't. That's all on you. Now, please don't do that. Do not write your SP's name down on a fucking tampon. You don't need to do all that. But we know this. This is very simple. Anything that puts our thoughts and emotions to that into our desired reality will put the chain reaction to identity, to saying that I have this thing, which leads to our desired reality. Okay, you only need one formula to manifest. And I mean, this is as simplified as it gets. And you can always check yourself by this. You start in your current reality. It's that simple. Whatever is happening in front of you is your current reality. It then gets filtered by your I amness, your identity. Okay, you can see something you don't like, and if you sit there and be like, oh yeah, no, that's how it is. I don't have this. If you agree with your current reality, that means your identity is your current reality, and that means your new reality that gets formed is your current reality, and you can't see it because it's the same, but you're going in this cycle, and you say, oh, I can't break this. No, you are choosing this over and over and over again. You can fuck up 1,000,000 times in a row, but now who are you? You get 1,000,000 chances with God. Because again, everything that happens goes through your awareness, and your awareness of who you are is what reality chooses for you. You're choosing this. When you say I am, you're choosing your new reality. Even though it doesn't show immediately, because life is a mirror, when this reality dies off, then your new reality will be that of the I am. And it dies off all the time. Like your skin, I don't know the actual thing, but you get fully new skin cells. I think it's like every couple of years. That's how reality works, but not in years, not in months, in days. You're consistently shedding your skin, so to speak, of your current reality through your identity, which leads to your new reality. So if you're sitting there and you're manifesting your SP, you're saying that, oh, I am dating this person, but your current reality shows you something that makes you think that you don't, you have a shot right here to prove that you have it or you don't. Which chair you sit down and think of it when something comes up in your life, right? Whether it's good or bad, but if it's against your desired reality, you then, in that moment, have a choice to either sit down in the chair of not having or sit down in the chair of having. Now, what will you do? Now, before you'd sit there and say it was bad. If you're saying it's bad and it's not working, then you're choosing the I do not have. But if you sit there and say, no, that's mine. I have that. Well, what chair are you sitting down in? The chair of already having. And if you're not in the chair of having, well, guess where you are? The chair of not having. And if you don't have, your reality will reflect that 100 times out of 100. It is that easy. So again, okay, so you're here. You know what not to do. Now you know what to do. This is the only formula you need. Current reality shows you blank. It goes straight to your I am. You have the decision of which chair to sit down in. You're sitting down in the I am or the I do not have. If you're sitting down in the I do not have, through whether you're reacting, whether you're thinking, whether you are doing to get, those are all things that are sitting down in the I do not have. Anything that implies you do not have goes to your identity of not having, which then goes to your new reality. If you are not experiencing what it is over time that you are wanting to experience, you are saying that you have, well, then you're sitting in the chair of not having. If you constantly sat in the chair of having, well, then reality would have to show you that of having. It's that simple. And now you know exactly how to end up on the universe's nice list. Go manifest your desired reality. I am out.